you noticed how anything online is rarely allowed to be slow? Even if it really matters, let it be political, even tragedy, or something even deeply human, it still has to hold your attention. It still has to compete. Neil Postman, in his book Amusing Ourselves to Death, talks about the idea how when an entire culture organizes itself around entertainment, serious matter do not necessarily disappear, but they definitely get reformatted. In the digital world, even suffering has to hold your attention. Even truth has to be watchable. Even politics has to be engaging. Even this video is barely 120 seconds long because I still have to hold your attention. And this is where digital voyeurism really takes hold. We go through these intense moments quickly, constantly, and emotionally, but we never stay long enough to understand any of them. We feel like we know a lot of information. There's this illusion of knowledge, but we struggle to see patterns. We feel aware, but we are very rarely oriented towards what we are actually listening to. And Postman does warn us about this. He says how this does overwhelm us, not because it's false, but because the information in itself is very disordered. We move from one emotionally intense moment to another without any context, any continuity, or any consequence. We feel like every clip is urgent, but nothing feels connected. And to borrow from my last video and build on what Susan Sontag said, she said how an invited horror can feel quite overwhelming. But at the same time, there is shame as well as shock in looking at the close up of a real horror. So the distance that she's talking about is no longer emotional. It is built into the medium itself. We are asked to witness everything, but structurally prevented from staying with anything for long enough to even care about it. And over time, our heavy reliance on entertainment to keep us informed does the opposite. It ends up making us feel tired, not because we don't care, because caring in this format really doesn't have anywhere to go. So the question isn't whether we are seeing too much, but rather a culture that is trained to be entertained can tolerate the slowness that understanding requires. Because if we can't, we may not be controlled by force or censorship at all. We might just end up amusing ourselves to death.